We are back with another episode of the Career Dive podcast. Today, I want to dive into a topic that I've been coaching a lot on. I've been coaching my clients on this every single week, actually, multiple times a week, because we do coaching twice a week. And it is something that I continue to point out to them as they're asking a question or describing their situation. I point this out to them every single time because I can see this challenge that we'll dive into today really trickle into everything that they do as they're doing job search. And this, what we'll talk about today, is really the biggest transformation that I see in my clients. It's to me, not necessarily even about this next level role, it's about your own transformation and who you become in the process. And this next level job is the byproduct of that. So today I want to talk about how you're showing employers that you're not ready for that big 150K to maybe 200K big senior role that you're after. Exactly how you're showing them that you're not ready. So if that's the type of role that you're after, but you're thinking, can I actually make this move? Is this realistic? Can I get these types of roles at this pay level, at this seniority level? Can I ask for 180K in this market? Am I ready for a director level role, for a VP level role? Do I have enough experience? Am I too young? Or maybe am I too old? What about my family? I have young kids. Is this going to stop me? What are employers going to think? Oh, I just took a year for paternity leave. And is that going to stop me? Is that going to be a problem? What about my kids? Or what about my accent? I live abroad. What are employers going to think? Am I ready? Can I actually do this? So, friends, if you are thinking any of these thoughts throughout your job search process, I'm telling you immediately that just by you thinking that, you're showing employers that you're not ready for that job. And what tends to happen here is most people think that I will feel ready and confident and that I can totally do this once I get this role. In reality, this is your wake up call. In reality, you first need to become that person who is ready for that role, and then you land that role. So you don't land the offer first, but rather you step into it first. So this episode is about confidence, presence, identity, which is everything at the senior level. Now, before we dive into the episode, I want to make sure that you have applied for our brand new live masterclass on May 28th from Stuck to Dream Six-Figure Offers. So if you are someone who is targeting six-figure roles, but you're stuck and you're not sure why that's happening, in this masterclass together, and we're keeping it small, that's why it's application only, because I really want to make sure that we have a chance to connect beforehand so we know exactly what your challenges are. But it's also an opportunity for me to actually coach you on the live. So we're keeping it small. That's why it's application only. And we actually opened the application process last week. In the first day, we got over 200 applications. And we want to keep the webinar itself, the masterclass itself, in under 30 people. So we might increase that number just slightly, but we really want to make sure that people who are coming into this masterclass get something out of it. We really want to make sure that you walk out of it knowing exactly where you're getting stuck on your way to a six-figure dream role that you actually love, that brings you joy, dare I say it. So by the time this episode goes live, there is still a few days for you to apply for the masterclass, to get in, and something special I haven't actually mentioned before, but in addition to the masterclass itself, where once again, we will be breaking down exactly what's keeping you stuck. We'll do an assessment together so you'll know exactly which area of job search you need to work on. So in addition to the masterclass, we'll also be doing a very special VIP private coaching session with yours truly. So we're only inviting a few people into that session. So when you are applying for the masterclass, you also will have an opportunity to apply and get into this special VIP free coaching session with yours truly. So we'll add the link for the masterclass for you to apply in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. Now let's dive into the episode. So, what inspired this episode is what I see a lot in my clients, what we see a lot in people who we talk to who are job searching right now, who maybe not yet are our clients. And it's this one pattern. You are smart, you're accomplished, you're experienced, you're making great money. So you're already at, let's say, 120, 30, 50, 80K. You often live in big cities. And again, you are on paper successful. However, you feel stuck. So you feel stuck in your job search. And today, I don't want to talk about strategy. Today, I want to talk about a hidden challenge that I see every single person that we talk to experience. And it's not your skills. It's not your professional skills. It's not even your positioning or messaging yet. It's not the actual strategy yet, but rather it's your confidence and your presence and how you think. So let me give you a few examples of how I immediately can tell that this is a problem and that's the number one thing that is in your way right now. First pattern that I see, you are nervous to network with executives. And this is insane to me because people who come, for example, into the Start Canada program, they're senior already. They're already working with senior executives, but they're scared to reach out to them. And they're scared to reach out to them even when they know them already and meet them for a meeting for a coffee. At that level of seniority that you're already in and at the level of roles that you're targeting, that is unacceptable. I really need for you to hear this. It's unacceptable. In fact, when you join the Start Canada program, the first thing that you do is a kickoff call with me. And one thing that we always do on this call is we take immediate action. We reach out to a few people right then and there on the call so that you book those big, important meetings right away. And what I see, friends, every single time is how nervous people are to do this. And we do it often. We reach out to people that you maybe have worked with before or have interacted before in maybe a client setting. So there is some connection already. But I always have to push you guys on that call that this is the structure of a message. This is the overall strategy when we reach out. Let's do it. And they're always nervous. And I always kind of have to push our clients to do this. And right away they feel like, okay, this is actually, I'm so glad that you're here for us to do it together. Now I have a lot more confidence that I can do this. But it's fascinating again for me to see this pattern time and time and time again. And what's also interesting here is when people come into the program and we ask this question about, okay, let's see who you have already in your network. It's fascinating to me that they haven't tapped into it yet because they're nervous. And once again, I know I've said this just now, but it just blows my mind away that you are sitting on a gold mine with what you already have. Now, if you're scared to reach out to people that you know, what about people you don't know? What about those executives at new target companies that you now have and you don't know yet? All right. Another way this shows up for my clients, and again, for job seekers that we talk to every single day, is overthinking every single conversation. So asking little questions about, oh, should I follow up here? Oh, what should I say here? See how like immediately the energy, it just doesn't seem confident to me. And if I am the hiring manager, I see this. I notice this immediately, even if you don't say that, but with how you present in that conversation. I can feel that doubt and that energy. But what I want for you to hear in this moment is that you are not alone. If you yourself are someone who is at that pay level, at that seniority level already, but you keep overthinking as you're going through job search. Okay, what do I say? Oh, should I follow up? That's another big one that comes up, I know, for my clients. Oh, should I follow up? And again, when you say it out loud, it sounds silly. Well, of course you should follow up. This shouldn't be big or scary or controversial. Yet, I'm telling you, most people are in their head about it. And if you're in your head about it as well, just know that you're not alone. It's very, very common. Another one that I see often is interview anxiety and interview nerves. And it's normal to be nervous before an interview because it's a bit of a weird scenario. But if you're crushed by that anxiety, if you show up, hear this, if you show up as a different person from what you normally are, from how people, let's say at work right now, see you, maybe in senior meetings, that's a problem. So something I've seen with my clients is they speak very, very quickly in interviews, or their energy is so off the roof, not in a good way, but more in a like kind of like a puppy kind of energy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Well, if you can't believe you're here and you got this interview, is that the energy that I want as the hiring manager? If you can't believe you got this interview, the energy that I want is, oh, of course I got this interview. Yeah, let's have this conversation and see if we're a mutual fit and if we want to work on big, cool problems together. See the difference there? So again, if you're someone who thinks, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, I got this interview, that's a problem because it trickles into how you show up. Another way this shows up is when you're preparing for an interview and you spend so much time and effort into it, but you're thinking about the interview as a transaction, meaning it's just this one interview, this one opportunity, and you're not thinking big picture. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but this again goes back to confidence. Because what tends to happen here is, let's say you're interviewing, it doesn't go through, you get rejected. And what happens for most people, they're upset, they're frustrated, and they don't ever want to look at it again or think about it again. But if you are at that next level, if you're confident, if you know you have options, you know that, oh, this rejection is probably not about me. It's not about my skills. It's probably just not a fit at this time. All right, Mr. or Mrs. Employer, let's continue to have this conversation. Let me meet more people so that when there is the right opportunity, we can have this conversation again. See the difference? How that rejection, I don't take it personally. I know it feels personal, but it's not. Oftentimes, it's not about you. It's not a fit. So the biggest way this I see show up for clients and for people, for job seekers that we talk to is, again, nervousness, not taking bold action, is overthinking, spiraling. So if all of that resonates, I want for you to know that you're not alone and that it's just you were never taught how to level up from there. You were never taught the tools. You were never taught that this is a skill and you can actually get on the other side of it. So I want for you to hear that it's not just about your professional skills. It's not about extra certifications or going back to school, but it's also realizing that my confidence, and with that, how I'm seen, perceived, and how I show up, and with that, the actions that I take, that's part of my, not just job search, part of my career strategy. And it's also a skill. And this confidence is what helps you land this next level role. Again, especially at this more senior level, the employer is looking for presence, influence, leadership. Now, I did mention that it is a skill and it's something you can build, and it's something you have to do before you have an interview. And with my clients, we look at some tangible factors here, like your body language, like how exactly you speak. So my clients know that I'm so diligent with getting them to use communication frameworks every time they speak. And something actually that they bring up to me is even after the program, years after, they tell me, oh, I continue now to use these frameworks at work or when I meet new people. So those are some of the tangible things that are part of being perceived more senior about your presence. But a big part of it is hidden. And that's the craziest part because it's what we started with this podcast. So your thoughts and your mindset. I'll give you a few examples. Let's say the circumstance is you are interviewing and they told you you'll hear back by Friday, and it's Friday, or let's say Monday the next week, and you haven't heard back. So the thought here can be, it's a no. Oh my gosh, I have to do this all over again. I have to look for another opportunity. And you spiral and spiral and spiral. Then you start thinking, okay, well, what should I do? Should I follow up? Should I not follow up? When I follow up, what should I say? And then with those thoughts, you now go and follow up. And your follow up message is very much coming from that place of, any updates? I bet some of you listening can resonate with this. Now, I was coaching a client on this earlier this week. And in her case, she's actually interviewing for multiple opportunities, yet that's the spiral that she is in about every single one of those opportunities. So I push her to think, listen, you have options. You're in the best place you can be. And on top of the options that you already have, you're also out there creating more opportunities and more options because you're actively out there networking and meeting people. So we actually talked through the strategy of reaching out to all of those opportunities, letting them know in a very strategic way that, hey, I'm in final rounds for these other two opportunities. And while you are my number one choice, I have to be mindful of the timeline with the other two opportunities, and then asking with all of that, now asking not just for updates, but asking for next steps. And let's set those next steps up for later this week. I'm free Thursday afternoon or all day Friday. See how different that is from any updates? You mentioned that you would know by Friday, any updates. See how different the energy of those messages is. And what's interesting is after I have coached my clients on this, she, even though she knew how to approach the situation, she still was so in her head because, again, it's all of those thoughts. What if, what if, what if? Am I maybe not ready for it yet? So she is now nervous to even act on this, even having the strategy. She's nervous to act on it. And what then I talked to her about is, listen, you're going for very well-paying jobs here. So if you're nervous to use this type of language and to sound confident, if you're nervous to use the language that shows that you're in demand and you have options rather than pick me, what kind of a message you're sending them? And that's something they can read. A hiring manager can read this within a few minutes. So your goal when you're going through the job search process, when you're going through interviews, your goal is not just to show that, hey, I have the skills, but to make them confident in you, to show them that I belong at this level. Everything that I do in this process, I can reach out to an executive. I have no problem booking a networking conversation with them. I have no problem leading that strategically and asking for a path forward at the end. So I get more introductions. I get put in front of the opportunities. I have no problem talking about myself. I have no problem telling you, the employer, with confidence that, hey, because I've done this, Now I feel confident that I can do this, this, and that for you. And then when I follow up on that process, I'm very much coming from a place of, I have options. Even if I'm not interviewing for multiple opportunities right now, I still know I have options. So I'm not just asking for updates. I am helping to navigate this process. I'm guiding them and not just waiting to be picked. Do you see the difference here? So again, at this level, it's a lot of it is about perception. And for the employer, and again, friends, if I can see this in you within that first conversation that I have with you, that kickoff call that I have with you as a client for the first 10 minutes, or I see it on a coaching call. And again, my job is to point that out to you and offer you a reframe, a tool to go to the other side and to continue to elevate yourself. But as a hiring manager, I'm not going to offer you that, but I'm going to see that the way I see it, they're seeing it too. And they're making that mental note. Can this person lead? I'm not sure. Can I put this person in charge of 4 people, 10 people? I'm not sure. Can this person influence the stakeholders? Can they walk into a room full of executives? Can I put them in front of a very important big client? That's what they're immediately thinking. So what's happening here is you have those thoughts. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I don't have enough experience. Maybe this is bad job market. Maybe I just need for someone to give me a chance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, can I actually ask for this much money? So when you're thinking that, you're feeling unconfident. You're feeling unsure. And that's what they're experiencing. That's what they're seeing. And that's that hidden challenge that most people have when they're job searching, because they have no idea that that's the perception that the employer has of them. But again, this is all learnable, because what's crazy here is that you can choose different thoughts. You don't have to take your thoughts. Am I ready? Can I ask? I'm not sure I can ask for this. Maybe I'm too old. That's just a thought. It's not a fact. It's just it's just your brain offering you that thought. You don't have to take it as a fact. You can choose a different thought. And what we do with my clients, we actually work through this, and I give you tools to essentially teach yourself how to identify those patterns, how to see those thoughts for yourself, not just go with the flow all day, but go, this is not helpful. I'm going to choose a different thought and I'm going to reframe this. And that's when, again, my clients tell me, oh, I feel different. And I'm thinking about this process differently. And I always see it. I can just see it on the call, how they show up differently. I'm telling you, if I can see it, the employers can see it too. So the final thought that I want to leave you with here is we are just so not used to being mindful of this and thinking about this and working on this, because all we've been taught is to focus on our professional skills, but they only take you so far at this level. So if you don't develop your confidence and the tools for it, if you don't develop your presence, you're not just going to miss out on those jobs. You're quite literally showing employers that I'm not ready. See, I'm spiraling. See, I'm not confident and I don't know what to do about it. So you're literally showing them I'm not ready. That's why you're hitting a wall. And listen, if you are looking at your resume and your experience right now, you're thinking, well, Anna, but I have grown to this level. I'm at a director level role right now. I bet if you look back, you probably have been at the same company for a while. So you haven't had to do this. Actually, you should have been doing this, but you've just been kind of comfortable and people know you. But I'm telling you, you need to learn how to do this proactively for yourself. And then you need to learn how to teach this to other people because that's what a good leader does. So stop showing employers that you're not ready. Confidence has to come before the offer. First, you're 110% ready and know that you're ready and you feel ready and you feel confident. And then comes the offer. All right, that's it for today's episode. Once again, I am hoping to see you in the live masterclass on May 28th, where we will be breaking down exactly what's keeping you stuck in your job search on your way to this dream six-figure role that you love. We'll do an assessment together. So once again, you'll walk out knowing exactly the areas that you specifically need to work on. And I'm telling you, there will be some aha moments where you'll realize, oh, I didn't know that this is my problem or this is my challenge. So I can't wait to see you there. We'll link the form, the application in the show notes, and I will talk to you and see you very soon, my friends. Bye for now.